Well folks, welcome back to the channel. Now you guys must have realised that I'm loving my fishing at the minute. We've been going to loads of different venues, rivers, commercials, you name it. And we're here today at the beautiful Packington Summers fishery. We're on Geary's Lake. There's a Silverfish 2-dayer. So we're on the first day today. Both days are on this lake. You can see the guys down there. And I have drew the famous high bank. So there's two sides to Geary's. There's a shallow side and a deep side. Now the high bank is the deep side, and obviously at this time of year water's a bit colder, the fish want to shoal on the deep side. Unfortunately I'm at the wrong end apparently of the high bank, so we're not going to have an amazing day, but we're going to catch some fish and hopefully we can keep in touch with those guys down there. It's on section points, so just looking to do well in the section. Here's my peg. You can see you've got to be a bit of a mountain goat to get down there, but we'll have a go and we'll show you my setup. Cool. We'll show you my setup because I've had a plumb around and it's going to be quite a simple day. So tactics wise, I've plumbed up two pole lines, a short pole line at 6 meters slightly to the side and a 13-meter pole line. You can see behind me that bank is a little bit awkward, so I don't really want to go too long on the pole, and I don't want to have too many long pole lines either, so just one long pole line is going to do me for today. Both rigs for the short and the long pole line are exactly the same, the only difference being one's got a black tip on the pole float because it's white water on the inside, whereas the longer line has got a yellow tip. So let's run you through the gear. First off, silverfish fishing today. Carp don't count, F1s don't count. Fishing for soft mouth, skimmers and roach. So elastic wise, look at that, really faffy elastic. It's a solid high vis, rated 3 to 4, you know, really soft elastic. I'm using 014 main line. The water is, it's about 4 foot deep maximum, so we're using a 4x12s float. That's a duster. Yellow bristle because I can see that beautifully out there. And then shotting, I've shotted it with number 12s, and what I've done to start with is just paired them together sort of as a slow fall through the water. And I can always string them out, but I'm thinking pairing them together, that makes them a sort of the equivalent of a number 10, but they are number 12s paired together. And then we've got 8-inch hook length, that's 08. And again, I'm not concerned about putting the slot shot on the hook length, so I've put 2 on the hook length halfway down, and we've got size 18 barbless hook. That is the rig that's going to do us for both our 13-meter swim and our short pole swim. The only other thing I've got set up is a feeder rod. I think we're going to start on the feeder rod, just see what happens. You know, it's a calm day today. Fish might just be sitting out past pole range, at least for the start of the day. So I've got that feeder rod set up, just a little cage feeder with some ground bait in. Now, feeding and tactics. What I want to do is I want to revolve my day around ground bait. I've mixed up a bag and a half. You know, I've just got a half bag, but I've mixed up a bag and a half of swim stim black. Fish still want fish meal even though it's winter time, so they want a dark ground bait in my opinion. This just settle better over it, so swim stim black ticks all those boxes. I've mixed it reasonably heavy, I've given it a lot of water. It's a pellet based ground bait, so you can give it loads of water and it'll soak that up. Pushed it through a riddle, we've got a beautiful mix. I'm going to be quite aggressive on the short line at least, probably going to put in 3 or 4 pots full of ground bait on the short line and let it settle. We're going to be fishing that line later on in the session, I expect, so we want quite a bit of bait there when we go on it. To kick off the 13-meter swim, we're just going to put in 1 pot full and then we're going to take it from there. I imagine we're going to be dripping bait in either pinkies or maggots or little bits of ground bait over the top of that swim to keep it going. And for the feeder line, I'm just going to literally chuck out 1 little feeder full and then chuck over the top of it and start fishing almost straight away. So you can see there that the further out into the lake I go, the more sort of frugally I'm feeding, the more care I'm taking with my feed. I'm expecting, hopefully, last hour to be really good short over that large amount of ground bait, but you never know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready when you are. Boy, you do that Dave, I think. Oh, £16, man. Oh, not quite. 15.4.
Well, that was actually better than I expected. We finished second in the section, which isn't a disaster. We've had £15, but £16 has won the section. And I know that if I'd have got my head down, made a decision and started fishing for those little fish, just fished for them front to back, I'd have had £16 easier. But instead, I tried forcing my peg, feeding more bait long, trying that short line. You know, I've just got my target species wrong. I was fishing for bigger fish when in reality there probably wasn't many there. Now, something that's let me down today, I think, is just not knowing the lake. I've not fished this lake for a long time, probably 3 or 4 years, especially in a silverfish match. I don't think I've ever fished it in a silverfish match. So you just miss out on the moves of the lake. And John Arthur's won the match today. He's drew really well. He's drew in the middle of the high bank, granted, but he fishes quite a few of these silverfish matches, silverfish events at Packington, and I just feel that he knows the mood of the lake a little bit better. So that's what's let me down a little bit. But we've had a day on the lake today. Tomorrow is another day. Now, the conditions are going to be a bit different. There's going to be a bit of wind, might get a bit of rain, but I feel like I've learnt a bit today. So we're just going to be a little bit more negative with our approach. Maybe if we're getting bites, just take bites. So, you know, I'm just going to fish for bites tomorrow rather than trying to catch quality fish. So we're going to probably put more emphasis on pinkies. I'm thinking that I'm going to loose feed pinkies on the pole instead of maggots. We've had a good day today on maggots, but I think if I loose fed pinkies, instead of the swim drifting away from me like it did today late on, might end up keeping those fish there for a little bit longer. So we'll see how it goes. First things first, we've got to draw a good peg because there's been some poor areas today and I don't want to be on one of those poor areas. I need an absolute screamer tomorrow for a section win.